my restream. All right, here we go. Wait, what happened here? Am I live? Good morning, everyone. All right, so before we get started, I'm going to post a link. If anybody wants to join us in a very spiritually connected 2024 vision board journey, one of my dear brothers, you guys know Adam, who comes on here. Good morning, good morning. Him and Claudia will be leading a beautiful vision board journey. I think sometime in January, I'm not sure, but it is buy one spot, get one spot for free. So I will definitely be doing that because vision boards are amazing. Okay, so as we get started here this morning, sup Dwight? Hey everybody. We're going to start with setting an intention. We're going to start by grounding ourselves, inviting in the Holy Spirit here this morning, and getting present to what is here and now. So let me lower this music a second, just a little bit. All right, so let's join here, and I invite you guys to gently close your eyes if you're not driving. Join me and do so. Let's begin by turning our attention inwards and begin to pay attention and bring your awareness to the rhythm of your breath. There's no need to alter your breath, just simply become aware of it. And as you breathe in, envision each breath infusing you with love. And with each exhale, delve into a deeper state of relaxation and trust. Relaxing your shoulders and your neck. And in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize a shining golden bright light. Feel its soothing warmth. And let the light gently expand, illuminating and covering all corners of your consciousness. Notice its effortless expansion. And notice that you do not need to do anything. Simply avoid impeding and getting in the way of its natural flow. And we'll just reflect for just a couple moments here, embracing the light's effortless presence. And gradually shift your awareness to the sensation of the support beneath you, whether it's the ground or the chair or your car seat. And imagine roots extending from your being, from your body, reaching deep into the core of the earth. Feel the pulsating beat of our Mother Earth. And begin to attune your own rhythm to this life-giving beat. And I want you to visualize the same golden bright light that travels from the earth through these roots, connecting you to our planet's nurturing and divine essence. And as your vision broadens, notice everyone that you've ever known is also connected to the same source through their own roots. Some may be pulsing in harmony, others seem dimmer, some not as illuminated as yours. This vision here is a reminder of your true purpose and the reason for your existence. And so allow yourself to gently smile, for in this moment you have touched upon truth that resonates with the divine. You are here to remember. You are here to illuminate. You're here to share this interconnectedness, the universal truth that binds us. And in this space, we are united under one law, one love, and we find this peace and this cause that is truly worthy of God's love. One world, one vision, one purpose. Ain't no place like this. And allow yourself to begin returning to this call as the intention and the remembering is set. And we are ready to embark on this conversation here today that is not only going to heal us, but heal the world. Amen. I hope. And feel free to open your eyes whenever you're ready to join us this morning. All right. How was everyone's Thanksgiving? It was great. I hope everybody had a fantastic time, and maybe you're still with family today. Amazing. Good. Anybody have any challenges around family members? Or do we all remember thankfulness, gratitude, connection? All right. Well, the topic of today, or breaking free, or setting new boundaries. So our topic for this morning is, I put healing our scarce mind. So, we can begin. Maybe we'll begin by, if anybody wants to share what they think that means. We'll make it more interactive than just me jumping into my ideas and my thoughts about it. What is the scarce mind? What does it mean to heal it? Okay. Well, if you don't want to, I will.
I can say something.
Okay.
I look forward to your elaborating on it. This is Jay Miller.
Hey, Jay.
I guess we find in our investment journey with investors that a scarcity mindset is not limited to people who are quote unquote poor. Like the biblical scripture is poor in spirit, meaning you can have great riches, but you still have limiting beliefs and are afraid to trust anyone else for those to grow, even if it's in your own best interest. So a scarcity mindset can exist all the way through billionaire status, depending on who you are and your level of healing or otherwise.
Mm-hmm. True that. A lot of times we can attach our scarcity mindset to money, or we can find it there. However, money, just like all energies, are kind of the same. It's different form of the same thing. So we can even see how we are scarce with our love, with our time, with our energy. Right? There's a lot of areas in our life in which we do that. And the Course talks greatly into what the real meaning of sacrifice means. It's actually extensively addressed in the Course. And the Course suggests that in truth, the idea of sacrifice is nothing. And the reason why that is because the world that we see comes from our mind, right? We can all agree that everybody's got their own truth and got their own perspectives, right? We can bring up any topic and any conversation about any topic in the world, anything that's happening in the world, and we will have billions of different opinions on it, right? So then what is the real world? Is the real world the one that you believe is right in your mind, or the real world is something else? And that's what this course and what we're here to discover is to remember what the real world with a capital R is, the one that God created, the one that we were created into. Not the one filled with our stories and our own experiences and our judgments. But what is the real world? Right? And sometimes I like to think of the world as like a blank canvas. And I've used this analogy a couple of times on these calls. And each one of us throws our own paints on it. It's almost like looking at the clouds, and one of us sees a dinosaur and the other one sees a jellyfish. And it's like, what? We're looking at the same cloud, right? It's like this painting. We're looking at the same painting that we've all added our own interpretations onto, our own creativity onto, our own stories. And then we see the world as either it's green or it's red or it's blue, but we don't see the world in which we painted onto, right? Which is that blank canvas, which the Course and how I'm using in this analogy defining as love. And not the love that we have, because even the idea of love, we have 8 billion ideas of what that is, right? So not the one that we created, but the one that God created. That's the world that the Course is saying sacrifice is meaningless, right? Because we really understand at this point that the world that we see and the world that we know of itself is nothing more than really illusions created from our own stories and our own perceptions of different things and our own judgments. That world of illusions is where sacrifice happens. Because it feels, the Course views sacrifice as the cost of believing in these illusions and the price paid for denying truth. That is what sacrifice really is. Because the Course in the back, in the Manual for Teachers, it explains how we pursue worldly pleasures. Good morning, welcome. Worldly pleasures, and these worldly pleasures is what we sacrifice. But these worldly pleasures is really the pursuit of nothing. Because as we pursue, fame, physical pleasures, money, cars, all the material things that the world gives to us that we hold dearly in our own hearts, when we give up those things, the Course says we're really not sacrificing anything, because each one of those things actually leads you to dissatisfaction and discontentment. Okay, now nothing wrong with liking those things, but we want to look at our relationships to them. Because sacrifice only comes from when we feel like we have to give up one of those things or some of those things. Even the idea that energy is limited inside me, that my time is limited, that my money and my resources are limited, when I feel like I have to give it up, right, because it's limited, that's the scarce mind right there, thinking that there is a limit in which you have, and if you give it up, you have less of, and somebody else has more of. So we say we can't give you our time, we can't give you our energy. Now, on one level, the earthly, material level, we do, on some kind, say yes. We say yes to one thing, which means we say no to something else. Right? But the true recognition is that we have unlimited of both. The only evidence that we can pull from that says we don't is this world that we've created in our mind. So, sacrificing something valuable in spiritual terms is sacrificing the idea that those things actually exist. That's kind of the only worthy sacrifice, the only worthy thing to give up. So maybe we don't even use the word sacrifice anymore. We just relinquish the attachment to those worldly things, the illusions that we've created, so that we may begin to embrace some sort of spiritual truth. Because when we can't hold on to the physical, we will reach into the spiritual. Okay, every one of us have probably experienced something in our lives that we were like, God, just help me through this. Right? We want to, we really do. And in part, inside all of us, we want to connect to that spiritual realm, to that divine realm. In times of need and in times of desperation, that's when we begin to do it. In times of loss, right? So sacrifice actually has a purpose. Loss actually has a purpose. And oftentimes a death in the family actually brings more love. The remembering of time is short here. The gratitude for the things and the people that are around us now and the things that we have. and families come together. I was just talking to somebody that said, two people from one of the groups I'm in, they came out to Vegas to visit me, to look at what I'm up to, what we're creating here. And she was like, yeah, I wouldn't have come out to Vegas if my grandmother hadn't died. Because now I'm connected to my mom's side of the family. We all decided that we're gonna come out here. We all decided that during Thanksgiving we're gonna meet in Vegas, of all places. And then I see your post about Vegas and what you're doing, and it's almost like divine timing. I'm like, oh, sounds about right. So, yeah, that's my opening statement about sacrifice, right? About what we're giving up. It's really an illusion of giving up something. But the only thing that we really have to relinquish is to recognize the relationships we have to those worldly things. And this is not, it's on this call, my invitation is always to find that openness in your mind to allow the truth of what is said to come. Because it doesn't matter what I'm saying, it doesn't matter the words that are coming out of my mouth. It's about what you hear. And it's about beginning to recognize the filters in which we hear from. A couple of weeks ago, I took down a note of something I said. I said, consciousness is the process of awareness, and it's also the awareness of the process. And I was like, whoa, where did this come from? This was a note from like 3 weeks ago. I'm glad I'm starting to write things down, by the way, because that was pretty powerful for me this morning. I was like, oh, it's very eye-opening. And so from that space, what is the process, right? Is everything just a process, the recognition and bringing awareness and to the process of you unfolding and remembering why you are here? Perfect. Go ahead, Antoine.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you for another call. So everything you said, just now I'm listening and my interpretation of it didn't actually match what I was thinking originally as what is scarcity mindset. And the word scarcity, I was thinking of the word lack of or something rare. And I personally, struggle with allowing myself to imagine more, allowing myself to be more loving, maybe as a son, as a husband, as a father. And my mind was going in the direction of, you have a scarcity mindset because you're not tapping into the unlimited capability of you being more of all of these things that are out there that you should strive to be for whatever reason. And I don't know if it's fear. I'm not sure what's holding me back, to be honest. And so that's what popped up in my mind. And the descriptions you gave, definitions, some of it was tied to maybe already having a relationship to those material things, and maybe and you create illusions about, well, if I have the car and the house and this, I'll be happy, and this and that, and letting go of some of that. So I'm a little bit in a conflict mode here. I don't know if both explanations tie in together or
not. Yeah, for sure. The reason why we get into conflicts about this idea, see, the Course says all these things are very simple, but it's not easy because we do have those attachments to those things. And because we have attachments to those things, the ego will defend it. See, one of the definitions of truth in the Course, it says that truth needs no defense. But all of the money, the relationships, the physical things require constant defense. And we can even say constant tendering too. Like everything on this planet, in this world that we live in, is constantly withering away if we are not putting and paying attention to it. But the reason why we pay attention to it, We got to purify that thought first. Allow it to be the holy relationships that we can establish with, right? That means it is a lesson. It is something to teach us and remind us of something truly holy, of this holy instant. It gives the opportunities of miracles. Everything that we have, everything we encounter, give us this chance of waking up to what we truly are. Whether we experience the love, or we experience a miracle, or we recognize that it's my judgment that is preventing it from happening. Either way, we get a chance to look at it. Now, there are other relationships in which the ego has with the worldly things. And this is what makes sacrifice real. So the Course says that it's special. Instead of holy, it's special. We make things special, right? The reason why we get upset is because we make specialness of all the things. Think about any time you have ever gotten upset about anything. It's because you have made something special. And by making something special, we are actually limiting it. We're limiting its potential for us. We are seeing it as scarce, right? Special and scarce is almost very similar in this context here. Okay, and I'm not saying to never use the word special, because in our world, special can mean a lot of different things. But in the context of which we are having this conversation, we're going to use the distinction special. I wouldn't go out and start correcting everyone about when they use the word special. And I wouldn't even be too concerned about when you make things special. Oh, yeah, you're a special person to me. Great. It just means in this moment, I'm very thankful for your existence. But in the context of what we're speaking into now, specialness is about making something scarce. It means there is less of this thing, or if I let this thing go, I will no longer have the happiness or the fulfillment that I thought I was going to have. And most of the times, those special things lead to those things that you don't want to experience. I don't want to feel alone, so I'm going to make this relationship special. I'm going to hold it in my hands. I'm going to make it scarce, like there's no others. And you end up pushing that relationship away. You end up creating conflict because specialness and scarcity leads to conflict. Why do wars even happen in our world? It's because there's a scarcity of something. There's a specialness about some kind of idea that people are not agreeing on. There is a specialness to being right about something. Who belongs in this region? What religion is the real one? No. All the things that we've ever gone to war with in our human history has all been a bunch of insanity of specialness and scarcity. The only way we can heal that is moment to moment to moment, where we recognize that these special things are actually here to teach us the valuelessness of those things. And now this special relationship, this holy, this scarce relationship turns into a holy relationship, and one that is an opportunity for miracles. And then all of a sudden, everything becomes abundant. It's the scarcity mind and the abundant mind is one thought. Like that shift is very, very small. What is the practice to come back to the holy moment? It's first to have gratitude for as a teaching device. Recognizing the purpose of a special relationship is that it is a teaching device. Because what we end up happening when we don't remember that, we take this special relationship and we start to distort all sorts of stories about that person, about that thing, about myself, about the world, about everybody that is Palestinian, everyone that is Israeli, right? And I'm throwing that out there because it's relevant. And I'm just trying to land the point here. I have no interest in any sides. Okay, I'm not taking any sides. But it's to remember that these special relationships are actually disguised, right? The real version of this relationship is it's remembering. It's the purpose that it's supposed to serve a purpose to remind us of the holy relationship, the holy instant. The holy instant is that moment where clarity comes, where our connection to the divine feels very real. Our faith is deepened. And so we can even talk a little bit more about faith, but hopefully that kind of supports your question a little bit, Antoine. And if anybody else wants to add anything or has any thoughts, I invite you guys to share it, whether you're on, whatever platform you're on listening to this. If you're on Zoom, even better.
And Alex, question.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I don't want to invest in myself to learn about multifamily.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking it's too expensive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or I'm trying to pursue a new relationship, and I'm thinking, maybe she's too high demand, and I'm backing up. I'm not interested in investing the time and things like that. How does one overcome that? What would be the practice to allow yourself to look beyond that scarcity mindset? What would be motivational tips? And I'm asking even for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, there may be something of value or something that I may see as important, or a big project, or oh gosh, a 300 unit. I don't think I can go after that. And that could be scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could help a little bit on that front.
Yeah, 2 points to that. So, one, the idea that you have to overcome this thing makes this thing more real. Like it's a real obstacle, right? The simple answer to that is when it's happening, notice where the scarcity is. That's all you need to do, right? We just have to notice, we have to recognize that it is scarcity and let God do the rest. See, the problem with us here in this physical world is that we need to know the answer to something. And there simply just isn't. Your mind created the scarcity. You believed and you bought into it. There is no way that your mind is going to be the one that gets it out. There must be an openness to divine intervention, an openness to the answer, recognizing where the problem is. I remember Marianne said last week, there's one problem and there's one solution. The one problem, any problem that we have, is our deviation away from love. And the only solution is a return to love. And if we replace the word love with God, then any problems that we've ever had is that we've deviated away from God. And the only solution is to return to God. Because when we return to that mindset, the scarcity disappears. We start to recognize, oh, the 300 units that I have to do, why is it that it seems like a lot to me and other people are accomplishing it left and right? Are they better? Is it because 300 units is truly a lot? Or is it just in my mind? See, it's just a recognition. That's it. It's a simple recognition that it is not the truth, but that somehow I've bought into it. And then the way around it, the way to get over it is really the willingness to give that idea up. God, I recognize that I am in a scarcity mindset right now. I won't make it the truth for myself. You take it and show me another way to see it. And I'm willing to see it. See, it's all the willingness, right? Like faith is so simple, yet so complicated somehow for our twisted minds. There just needs to be a willingness of not being right, a willingness to be wrong about the way that you have your scarcity. Right? It isn't about overcoming it. It isn't about not having fear, not having scarcity anymore. It's to recognize the purpose of why scarcity is showing up for me right now. And the answer is it's teaching you to trust. It's teaching you to give. It's an invitation to connect to your source. Every time it shows up, it's an invitation to connect to God. Okay, somebody asked, why are people more scarce to spend money on their education than on stupid stuff? Something I can't understand. It goes right back to our belief that physical things and temporary pleasures are our saviors. That if we just went and spend some money, we feel better about getting more stuff, because stuff makes us feel more valuable. The more stuff I have, the more I associate it to, status and supposed to be feeling good. And what I see on social media from when people have nice things, it must be nice to have it, so I go and spend it. We can even say that it's an urge and the desire to exchange energies. Let's just call it that. Right? First, I think, is to remove the judgment that there are even stupid things to spend on. There is nothing stupid, because everything you spend on, when seen correctly, it is an opportunity. So who's to say that that's not the education I needed to spend my money on? Is on something stupid. Maybe I need to spend it on that so that I can actually truly learn. This is my first step, to learn that, wow, that thing gave me no happiness, no long-term happiness. I was temporarily happy, but then I'm still sad and depressed. And I still have anxiety. So that must not be the answer if we're willing to look. So there is also a specialness here in this moment when within this question right now, there are multiple things in which we are making special. One, what is education? All right. Two, the concept and the idea of me. What is best for me? And then stupid things. There's three specialness inside one question. Now, what is the opportunity and what is the teaching and the learning that is available within this question for me? For each one of us individually, you got to ask that for yourself. It isn't about an outward projection of what we believe is true and we just throw it up on everyone else. But it's about, okay, within this question, what's available for me? And then when we have thought it through, when we have thought it through from a place of non-judgment, then we can try. We can try to share that with others. Speaking is a risky business, y'all. Every time we speak, there is a possibility of projection. Probably not just a possibility, but a very high chance that it is projection. Yeah, I despise that word try. Do or don't do. I mean, we all want to be Yoda-ish. But there is also a specialness now to the word try. right? Anytime we have resistance to anything, that's a place to look. If we have a judgment or a resistance to something, we are literally stopping the flow of love. And then our practice is just constantly an inward practice. To me, stupid things are buying expensive cars and not having the money to make payments, clothes, jewelry, clothes, shoes, jewelry. If we can afford them, then it's okay. Yeah. So maybe, right? Maybe, unless I would practice challenging yourself about that idea, so that you can see the likeness, right? Rather than the 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 differences or the judgments, right? Because it's relative. You can say stupid things as this, but somebody else that is less fortunate can say you having multiple pairs of shoes is buying something useless and stupid. Now, are we going to start to debate on the level of stupidness? Who's right, who's wrong? See, we're back to this everyone's got their own truth thing. No, Brooke, you say. I'm just saying you're Yoda. So, there's that practice right there, to look, what am I being right about here? And what's the point of being right about this? All right, so great. Thank you for the question online on Instagram, and thank you everybody else for your questions and participation here. Always love Brooke's commentaries. It's just adds so much light to this conversation for sure. All right, so what else? All right, Antoine's back at it. Come on.
You said something about projection, and we project. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about when somebody else is projecting on us and how to deal with that. And I couldn't help thinking of, before I started joining these calls, struggling with my close ones that are giving me feedback. You do this, you need to improve. Typically, not being mature, then automatically I go into defense mode. When people are giving us feedback and we don't know how to handle it or appreciate the moment, we get into defensive mode. Mm-hmm. And for me, the way I sort of started looking at it was, hey, you're lucky there's somebody around you to observe you, maybe be a mirror and give you that feedback. So appreciate that. But listening to you today, another translation of that is letting my ego go or sacrifice my ego, right? And not make myself so special that I'm so blindsided of getting feedback. So anyways, I'd like to put that on the table, see what you think.
Yeah, of course. This is it's a nice idea to think, oh, thank you for giving me the feedback, but it's not that easy when somebody says it to you, right? Especially when your close one says it to you. It's a feedback. Oh, feedback is a gift. Well, you're dumb as shit. That is no longer a gift. Right? So it's nice to think about it like that, right? It's nice to say that, okay, we got this concept that feedback is a gift. I shouldn't be upset. Well, anytime that you've ever judged anybody, anytime you've ever needed to defend yourself, what happened to the feedback is a gift, right? No matter how, because somebody can say words to you or somebody can just behave illy around you, right? And it's very easy to notice their projection and then the ego comes flaring up. But there are moments, think about things that really doesn't matter to you at all. Like we use this analogy all the time when I'm giving, like, somebody's giving you feedback. First of all, let's notice all the special things that are happening. One, there's a specialness about my identity, so you never challenge it. The second specialness is what I hold in you, because A, if you see and you truly love and understand somebody, right? And parents know this. When you love your kids so much that what they say to you, you will always forgive. Like there's just a capacity in you to be able to forgive. Maybe you are hurt in the moment, but there's still an ability to find love and return to love. You're giving them the best benefit of the doubt. B, if we can even see that the feedback is negative or positive, we must also have a specialness about something else. So, for example, if you don't really have a specialness, see, I relinquished the relationship to the color of my shirt and what you think the color of my shirt is. I'm just using the color. I'm not saying ugly, because if you say it's ugly, then I might take offense. But if you say that my shirt is white and I'm wearing a black shirt, there's not even 1 ounce of energy in which I will lose because I have no interest in defending it. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. That's yours. This is mine, right? It's very, very, there's no energy that's used to create that neutrality. Now, if you're like, your shirt's ugly and you're an idiot for buying that, and how much money you spend on all that stuff, then now it's triggering some specialness about something, an identity I have of Alex. No, Alex he's very fashionable. He's always wearing a black shirt. He must be very fashionable. Wears the same shirt every day. So we just recognize all the specialness. It's an inward type of work, right? And it's when we recognize that's what we're doing and we acknowledge it. Otherwise, the reason we would even see projection and feedback from somebody is because we have already projected onto them. The reason why we even take offense is because we have already projected them as a separate brother, sister that is capable of hurting us. Somebody on their deathbed, ready to go, can say the most obnoxious things to you, and it's just all love. Right? Because there's that moment where you feel like this is going to be gone. But that is the case with everything. So Nagar has something to add. Go ahead, sister.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm still getting over this flu. Believe it or not, I can barely hear, but I can talk.
Oh no. That's an interesting comment. Go ahead.
But the interesting thing, I'm not surprised, is that whatever we're talking this morning about, believe it or not, I'm not surprised. I journal a lot. I write a lot. Okay. If they were all in my journal this morning, I woke up at 4:30, or at 5 my time, California. I was writing this down like crazy. First thing I wrote down was, oh my God, my ear. Welcome abundance. And then you're talking about scarcity. And then it goes on, and of course I was listening to something too, which made me write this thing down. And I can talk about this. But then projection came, and that's exactly what I wrote on the next page. So, so I'm going to share with you. Okay, so what I did write down was Nagar before my old self, okay, was, let's say that I was talking to somebody and I was thinking that I was having a great, I was in a great mood, I was having a good energy, and then the person was the opposite, resentful, not good energy. So as a result, he or she insulted me, and I reacted by saying, don't take out your problems on me. That was my thing to say to everybody. Don't take out your problems on me. You have problems. I don't. Literally, I said that to them, right? I'm talking about years ago when I was not enlightened, okay? And now, oh my God, it all goes back to experiences. You really learn your lessons in a hard way. I mean, harsh, harsh. You get knocked down. You go through so many challenges that God brings you because of the way you were until you learn your lesson. So it's been a while that I don't. I mean, I just literally, if that happens, which does happen a lot lately, I just listen and I walk away. And I'm able to, because it's all projection. You know, you were right. 90% of the time, it's all projection. I put a funny video you guys need to watch. JP Powers has that. It's all about projection. They fight. It's a spiritual fight. Very comic. So it's true, you know, it's all projection. Whatever we say, 99% of the time, if we pay attention, it's all projection. So when we know that, why do we even want to react? You know, that person does have the problem. It's his or her problem. It's not mine. So why do I even waste my energy, you know, trying to react? So that's that. And then of course, the other topic, scarcity, it's all experience, you know. Antoine mentioned about, you know, he has some questions. I think my answer to that is higher self. We need to listen to our higher self. You know, if 300 multi-family is, you know, you're thinking that it's hard for you, listen to your higher self. You know, if the idea comes back to you, then maybe you should take on the challenge because from challenge we can make triumph, right? Challenge, sacrifice, all that stuff. We can we can convert tragedy to or challenge to triumph. And so maybe you should try it. If not, you know, for me, I've tried so many things in my life. Whatever I put down, I was the first person, you know, boom, 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 boom. I need to do it. I need to do it. Of course, so many times fail, but I don't look at it as failure. Now I just take my time. You know, 3 weeks I've been at home. You know, believe it or not, I was invited to Thanksgiving. I didn't go.
Hmm.
I spent time by myself with my higher self, and I'm learning a lot. I've been journaling. I finished one whole 300 or whatever pages, you know, journal, and that's what my higher self wants me to do. You know, now I don't rush into anything. Maybe my path is creativity. You know, I'm taking on more, being more creative, which is, you know, deep down, I'm an artist. I paint. I'm a painter. I mean, I don't sell my painting. Everybody tells me you should, but I don't. You know, I'm into dance. Maybe I should teach dance. You know, I'm taking up those stuff. And when I get the inspiration from that, then maybe I can invest my money, whatever I have or I don't have, into 300 units or whatever Alex is doing, right? But I listen to my higher self. What is my, and that brings me inspiration. If we cannot do anything until we're inspired, we are in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we fail. So I don't know. That's my answer to that too.
Awesome.
One last thing, as long as we bring high, as long as whatever we do, we keep our high vibration. I think the whole goal should be not to let anything, anybody, to bring our low, to bring us into low vibration. You know, because that's where we live in our ego. Ego wants us to be in fight and flight mode, right? So not do this. You know, it's dangerous. Don't do it. It's risky. That's low vibration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there is no, just like, you know, the, the course always teaches us that there is no halfway. There's no somewhat being low energy, somewhat being high energy. It's only one or the other. There's no somewhat being heaven and somewhat being hell. It's you're either here or you're there. One vision, the vision of one is going to cost you.
You're on the fence. Being on the fence is being in hell.
Well, maybe. I don't know the answer to that one, but you know, I bet you can make a case for both. Being on the fence and also be in heaven. I don't know. All right, so yeah. Antoine, did you have anything else you wanted to share? Because you have your hand up still.
No, sorry, it was left from before.
Ah, okay. Your arm must be tired. That was a long time you held it up. Okay, not funny. All right, what else? Anything else anybody want to share from this conversation here this morning? It's been a really great one. It depends how much you like sitting on fences. Oh, thanks, Babeski. My wife laughed at my joke because she thinks I'm funny. All right, let's see. Marianne, talk to me. Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. All right, let's see. Which one? You know, she always gives me two choices. When I open up the book, I got two choices to pick one. Ah, okay. This one seems to fit, according to me. Day 259. I use the power of a positive attitude to uplift any situation. I think she's responding to you, Antoine, and to all of us. My doubt, fear, negativity, and judgment have destructive power. My faith, love, positivity, and blessing have a miraculous power. I will use my power wisely today. Sometimes it's just an encouraging word, a tender touch, or a friendly smile that can bring hope to someone's heart. Such moments represent God's love on earth. I will be his representative today as I try my best, to bring love and hope to any circumstance. Wherever I go, may there be more love and peace because I'm there. Aho. May my mind be ever alert to ways I can ease the path for someone. Dear God, please save me from a life lived only for myself. Amen. You know, just mic drops. Marianne is just mic dropping all day. So, yeah, that was a really good one. Let's make sure we remember this. I will take a sticky note and stick it on there. For that is what I will share with the group today. All right. What you guys think? What do you think about that? Does that evoke any conversations? Right? Kind of to sum it up, there's really only two powers. It's either you have a destructive power or you have a miraculous power. There is no halfway. Okay. And so great. Bring love and hope to any circumstance, and may there be more love and peace because I'm there. That's it. You take nothing away from any of our calls. Just remember that wherever you go, wherever you are, may there be more love and more peace because you are there. Antoine. Wow. Okay, hey, Donna.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I'm just thinking about specific situation area, like trying to be neutral in places where people just trigger you, or
Mhm.
maybe it's your.
Tell me about the relationship that is doing that.
Oh, it's always family.
Mhm.
Like I had a great opportunity to go to Mexico for a wedding, but my nephew, and there were a lot of family members there, and so in particular, okay, it's always my mother, and she has this thing about exits, like, or maybe I have this thing about exits, where it's like you could just never leave. There's always like one more thing or 12 more things, it's like just. She wants to control that moment where you know it's time to go. And it's like, I was proud of myself because I was recognizing the triggers. I'm like, I can't stay here. I gotta go, and I was doing it, but like I was trying to do it in a nice way, and sometimes it just felt really, really hard. So, like when you're in those moments and you're recognizing those triggers, and you feel like you gotta run, like there's. It seems in contrast to what you just read about Marianne Williamson, like the situation should be better because you're there and there's love there, but like, how do you walk that fine line? Anyway?
Yeah. Well, remember that again, we could bring back that the world that only exists is the one that's in our mind right now, right? So when when you're there, make sure that you leave with peace and love in your mind and in your heart. If you don't, that means that's not what you created there. If you're able to leave with peace of mind, then you're okay. But if you leave with guilt, then there's more work to do. And then we get to look what's special. What am I making special? What is my mom doing that's that's offending me somewhere where I'm holding some sort of specialness or something that I feel even can be offended, right? And sometimes you got to do visualization practices. I mean, I always think about I always think about, especially when I can't handle somebody, I'm like, if they're on their deathbed, right, like, is there anything that I couldn't handle? Right? Is there anything that I would yell at somebody or be upset at someone when they're literally taking their last breaths? No, there's not. I'd be like, say whatever you want to me, right? Like, there's nothing that I can take offense to. So I don't know what you would need to do specifically tactically, but I would say mindset wise, you're in the right place. Like, as long as we keep doing this level of work, and because what we're speaking into is all the same thing all the time. That's why Nagar is journaling the same thing that we're going to have a conversation on today. That's why people come on the call and say, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm going through, because there's really only one conversation. We're able to see that all our problems are just different forms of the same thing that we're talking about on here. And as we just be around this conversation more, be gentle with yourself first, right? Like, okay, well, I couldn't deal with it. I left. And I left without saying bye to anybody. And then I start to be gentle with my own decisions, right? Because just because you don't, if you, I'm not 100% sure if I'm talking about the same thing here. When you leave a place, right? Like, do you have to say bye to everybody? Do you have to have this conversation, or can you just walk out the door and be gone? Right. So I don't know. Is that the topic?
Yeah, no, in this case, I was able just to just at least walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going, make a declaration, gotta go.
Yeah, but see, what happens sometimes is we make this egoic decision to like make ourselves, we have to force something. Like, if we don't do it, it's bad and wrong, right? And same thing, it's like, depending on how big the crowd is. Okay, well, is it worse to leave when there's one person there without saying bye, or is it worse to leave when there's 10? We justify the actions that we take, but can we just simply be at peace with it? If there is 100 people and then now I leave without saying bye, I feel at peace, great, do it. If there's only one person and I can leave without saying bye and still be at peace, do it. It always just comes down to the one question of, like, what is it for? And is it leading me to peace? It's either peace or it's the absence of peace. But either way, the returning to peace is the answer. And so
I think I got more peace leaving. Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Good.
Yeah. So then just acknowledge yourself for that. Right. And then just next time you're in the presence of your mom again, okay, I'm here to generate more love and more peace. But it's not for everyone. It's for me to feel it. That is ultimately the space in which you will create it for everyone else, is if I can feel at peace or in love. And so the only way, the next thing to what Marianne said is, like, The way that we can tell is we feel it. You know, how often do we have a conflict with someone and we walk away and we actually pat ourselves on the back and we feel like, you know, we've left the situation, but we feel all this guilt inside, or we still have anger and anxiety inside. That means we really never went anywhere. Our bodies may have left, but our mind's still there. Until I can just clear it off in my mind, then I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still there in that situation. If I bring it up and I start gossiping about it later, I'm still there. I never walked away from anything. I only have an illusion of walking away from that problem or that classroom or that teaching moment. I didn't learn. I didn't learn in that moment because I walked away from it. But it's still going to show up. If it doesn't show up with that same person, it'll show up with another. It won't be my mom, it'll be my sister this time. And I will see controlling behaviors in other people, and it will remind me of my mom, and I will be back over there, and then I won't feel safe around this person, and now we've just like distorted our entire world. See, that's just one distortion like chain. Our minds are so twisted that we have distortions on everything. So then we just say, I don't know, I'm super distorted. God, you tell me what to do. Show me a sign. And then go from there. All right, go ahead, Nagar.
Yeah, I totally can relate to you, Donna. Donna, right, Donna? Yeah, I've been there. I still am, but I'm learning. I think that, Alex, you mentioned that's exactly what I do too. I imagine them being sick. You just said on their last breath. Anytime I'm really, really, really frustrated with somebody, especially close friends, sister, brother, mother, in my case, also mom. I imagine them being really sick, and I'm like, oh my god, nothing really matters. Then that frustration and anger becomes so small to me, immediately goes away. But it's still not easy. I mean, I know how hard it is because I'm still struggling with that, but 90% I think is gone. And I was going to say, Donna, when you are, I mean, I think that just the fact that you are aware of this conflict shows that you are aware, shows that you're not ignorant, so there's something you need to work on, there's something going, because a lot of people, like my sisters, they are, to me, I mean, no judgment, but they're not aware.
No judgment. I love the but that always comes behind something. No judgment, but here comes the judgment. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I get it.
But their time will come. They're not aware that they're not aware. So just the fact that we know there is a problem, I think shows that we are waking up.
Yeah.
And when the student is ready, master shows up.
Yeah.
So it's, and the other thing, last thing I want to say is all energy. So anytime that, again, I want to save my energy, I say to myself, energy talks. I don't need to do anything. So there will be a time that when we confront that person, we don't have to say anything because it's our energy that is different. Next time I see my mother, I don't have to say anything. My energy will do the talking for me. So they will see the difference in me without saying a word, because silence is the best thing we can do. And that takes work. That takes a lot of work. And again, as long as you're waking up, as long as you really want this thing to be fixed, or however you want to put it, then you learn how to be silent. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Just be there. It will be resolved by itself. Again, it takes work. Journaling is one thing. The best solution is just write it down. I in my life, I have not seen a therapist in my life, and I trust me, so many times I needed to, still do, but I tried. I, this is how I connect with my higher self. So the time will come that you will see that person, and you don't have to do anything; just be silent. You know.
Yep. Thank you. That's a good share. Antoine, what you got?
So when you read the reading, I just wanted to share that it touched me in several ways. I usually don't take the word miracle lightly, and to hear that, to be present and to radiate love, faith, all the other good stuff that was mentioned translates to miracle. That really shook my core. And what it connected to also for me as a Christian was the Lord's Prayer. Thy will, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And I was getting a download about, where, and I say, thy kingdom come. I want you to radiate love. I want you to radiate all these good things. And that is my miracle. So that's how powerful that was for me. And that's why I said, wow. And listening to, I think it was Janet, was it Janet that was speaking about the exit? I think something like that. I
Donna.
was also, Donna, sorry. And, for me now, when I go places that I feel that the Lord is trying to use me, I try to magnify the presence. So if it's somebody that I have a relationship with that I really want to connect with, I emphasize making eye contact a little bit longer when I'm talking to them. Or as soon as there's an opportunity to give a hug, I find the courage to give that hug. And I do these things, and by the time I'm leaving, the exit doesn't matter because I accentuated the present. And when I'm done, I'm done. But what is done is done. I think a hug.
You got. Uh huh.
I just wanted to share some of them.
Awesome. Well, I love that when you share from a place of reflection of what you're going through, and it makes it more relevant and real. It's a very it's a good share. So thank you for always sharing the way you do, because you're always coming from this place of like curiosity, right? And it's where we, where the course says we all should be in this curiosity of the willingness to do something, right? Like the willingness to say, I don't got it. I don't know the answer. I don't know if you should or shouldn't read A Course in Miracles. I don't know if you should or shouldn't be on this call. Do you feel attracted to it? Right? Do you feel a sense of peace, or that you're dancing around the truth? I certainly feel it on these calls. I feel it. I feel it. I feel that we are dancing around the truth. I don't know if everything that comes out of my mouth is that, but I feel a sense of divine presence on these calls, right? So yeah, thank you for affirming that also, Antoine. Cypher, what's up, bro? You want to say something? You unmuted yourself.
Hey, I'm here with baby Jacob.
What's up?
My baby boy, he's 2 years old.
Oh.
I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna show you a little bit. It's called Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, Florida.
Yeah.
I
can turn the camera around. Actually, I just picked this place up. I'm doing this remodeling here. This is the second floor. We're gonna turn this into a short-term rental.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Nice.
The lake right there.
Is it a multi-family or is it single?
It's a single, but I'm gonna build another unit over there. There's a lot that I can build a second property. I bought this about 2 years ago, and one of my last properties that I haven't really paid attention to. So I've been here, and thank you for letting me share.
Of course.
It's a beautiful space. I've been learning a lot from being with my baby boy. And we spend like the first 7 years of our lives growing up, and uh, some of us that had traumatic experiences as growing up, we spend most of our lives fixing that child that has been damaged. But when you let go and you just become a child again, and you just don't have to impress anybody, you don't have to do anything, you just become your true self. It's very beautiful, and to come from that place with every relationship with everybody, it's beautiful. And I love this space. I just started coming to this space with you, Alex. I know you for a long time, but I really admire what you're doing, and I just joined your course and everything else, and I'm amazed. So I just wanted to share that we should have a heart of a baby, because I've been learning so much from baby Jacob. It's it's amazing to have like a heart of a baby, and not from judgment, not from anything, but just from appreciation or recognition of life. Because he gets up and he's like so happy. It's like, wow, when did I lose that happiness? When did I lose the happiness to be alive? And I lost it when all these things came into my mind. What is wrong? What is right? The fear of tomorrow. And mostly for me, it's been like, I have not been competitive. I'm thinking that I cannot be competitive because I want everybody to like me. And if I'm competitive,
Uh-huh.
okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I used to play soccer in Colombia, and I played for a team called Nacional. And when I was trying to score a goal, I would pass the ball to somebody else so they can score the goal. And I did that all my life because I was undervalued from my own mind. And now it's like, I don't need, my competition is just me, it's myself. I don't have to compete with anybody else.
Yeah.
And, just wanted to share this. Thank you for the space, Alex. I love you, bro, and thanks everybody.
No, man, thanks for sharing, and really glad that you are here in this space now. Right? Like I feel like we've always had some kind of connection. Very briefly, hey, Jacob. And it's what we admire in children, and like the childlike wonder and the heart of a child, like it's the innocence, right? It's that return to innocence. And this is what actually the course says: the way to heal is through forgiveness, and forgiveness is to see the innocence once again. Right? So now that's another way for us to, that's why we have kids too, because we learn something that is just beautiful. It's like we got to return, we got to see innocence again. We get jaded and skeptical and all the things that have hurt us and all the people, the stories we made up, and then boom, here's that innocence. Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, man. Okay, we got about another 5 minutes or so. 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Yeah, okay. Anybody else want to share anything from this conversation, this call here today? What did you hear? What are you taking away? Okay. Well, let's kind of turn back to the conversation that we started with. Right, so we talked about the healing or the ending of the scarce mindset. It's kind of to sum up what we talked about today. It's one of the things is the fact that we think we have to overcome it first, like that we see specialness or we see scarcity and abundance as like opposites, I would call it. Right? It's like the course says love and fear are not really opposites either. Abundance and scarcity aren't opposites. One is illusion and one is real. One is all encompassing and one is just made up. right? Fear is something that we learn, and love is not the opposite, but it's all encompassing. How can it have any opposites when it's all encompassing? So to overcome the scarce mind is to become all encompassing. That means all we got to do is relinquish our judgments, or at least just notice them to start. Maybe even relinquishing it may be too much of a task. We don't have to go right all there, but you can. And the way that relinquishment starts to happen with ease is when we don't think that it requires effort. So we don't need to make it heavy. Oh man, I got to relinquish my judgment. I do or I don't. Let me just notice it, that it's here. All right, so relinquishing that. What did I say? To overcome scarcity. Oh, is to become all encompassing. Right? Abundance is all encompassing. There is enough of everything. Abundance does not require you to overcome scarcity. Abundance just is. Love just is. God just is. And it's available to us as soon as we choose it. And once we choose it, scarcity automatically disappears. But if we focus on scarcity and we focus on other people being scarce and we start judging, that just comes back and abundance automatically leaves our mind. There is no halfway, there is no somewhat. It either is or it isn't. Okay, so we just make it easier on ourselves. We're either withholding love or we are not. We can't say, but most of the times I'm in love. Most of the times I give love. To most people, I can give love. But my mom, yeah, about that one. But I mostly do good. There is just, I either am or I'm not. Either I am abundant and I am love or I'm not. Right? And the places in which we get to do our work is the places where we are withholding. That's the only place that we need to do the work. We can't, but we tend to avoid it and justify why we don't need to do the work there. But I'm doing so well over here until it's not. Because somewhat just leads to more of it. The I tolerate you love. Oh, you're funny, Brooke. Yeah, same thing. There is really no I tolerate you love. I mean, we make it up, right? And we see that there's somewhat kind of exists for us or for others. But yeah, Brooke, your comments are always so funny. Yeah, be kind to all. We all believe, the Course says, you believe in love, but do you believe in love only? Do you believe everyone deserves love? Or is there places, or it depends. Perfect timing, Brooke. Okay. Well, what else? Shall we just go out with another Marianne's mic drop? No. Oh, Nagar, go ahead.
Just very quickly, I think it's all because of we live in a duality world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a duality that yes, either love or not love,
Uh-huh.
evil, hate, whatever you want to call it. Yes, but because of the duality, we fall down. This is why I believe that it takes a lot of work. So we gotta do the work to get to that love. So it's not that it's either love. I'm not disagreeing with you. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that because of the duality, it makes it, yes, simple but not easy.
Mhm.
This is why we have to be very, very conscious all the time. And to be aware / conscious, living consciousness, it takes work. So it's, I wish it was we all always live in love. That would be heaven, right? But it's the duality that knocks us down. This is why I said, no matter whatever we do, we just need to keep our vibration high. The world
Uh-huh.
is changing. I mean, we're entering in Aquarius.
Uh-huh.
It's literally, we can connect with people or creatures from other planets. This is how literally it's changing. Everything is changing, and the best we can do for humanity, I think, is to keep our high vibration. For that, it's the duality that I think we gotta keep remember that also. This is why we're either low or high, high and low. It's just add that.
High or low? How high can you go? How low can you go? Yeah.
Add that.
Thank you. Thank you. Fraser, did you have something you wanted to add? You had your hand up and then you put it back down?
Yeah. So I've been practicing this week and had all these little signs up for no expectations.
Ah, what? Nice.
Expectations of myself has been very challenging to allow that to let go, but realizing that having the no expectations and allowing God to bring into my life what needs to come at the right time has actually over the week helped me to not stress out as much. I'll be honest, that's been kind of a major blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And to realize that although I have no expectations signs, that doesn't stop me from, putting in the work, looking for deals, working on the work, going to the gym, all these things, but relying on when it's the right time, these things will come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. So Fraser is in our Clarity Catalyst course. So awesome. Week 1, we got another session later today. Looking forward to it. Okay, so based on what you two shared, I think this is a very appropriate miracle writing, Mariam put for the day to end on. So perfect. Nagar went into this is work and work. This is what we got to do. Day 182. Oh, that rhymed. May my work become my ministry. I changed the purpose of my work today from a job to a ministry. And I don't mean just the work that you do for a living and make money, but also the work that Nagar was talking about as well. From a job to a ministry. A job is merely an exchange of energy, while a ministry is the platform for my highest service. It is the place from which I serve. I am not on earth to do a job. I am on earth to fulfill the spiritual mission of becoming God's light and love on earth. Whatever I do, I can do with an attitude of service. Whatever I do, I can do as a way to serve the world. As I dedicate my work to higher purposes, my work shall be lifted, transformed, and even exchanged for other work, if necessary, to serve God's plan to use my talents for His sake. Dear God, I surrender my talents and abilities for the purposes of love. May my work become my ministry, and all I have and do be used by you. Thus shall I experience the joy of knowing that what I do is for a higher cause than my mortal mind can know. Amen. May my work become my ministry. Let's go. Service is at the core of what that is. May I be of service. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic Sunday. Much, much blessings to everyone here. See y'all on Wednesday. Bye.